Hello and welcome to Treasury Notes, a financial education program from the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office. I'm your host, Gina Joins. As 2017 comes to a close, we often take time to reflect on our past achievements and look forward to what comes next. Along with the daily banking functions that take place in the Treasurer's Office, programs like Unclaimed Property, Smart 529, and West Virginia's Retirement Plus program are part of the Treasurer's Office to serve the people of West Virginia on a daily basis. In today's show, we'll take a look back at many ways these programs impact people like you. But first, Assistant State Treasurer Josh Stowers is here to talk about how the Treasurer's Office manages these services. And Josh, thank you so much for taking time to sit down with us today and take a look back at 2017 and just some of the accomplishments of the State Treasurer's Office and what we've been through over the past year.
Good to be here.
First, I want to take an overview of the office and just kind of pick out some of the functions that the office does on a daily basis. The big thing that the office does is banking services, of course. That's really the primary function of the Treasurer's Office. And I know that there's about $13 billion of operating funds that flow through the Treasury every year, another $3 billion in investments from the Board of Treasury Investments. So that's a lot of cash that the Treasurer's Office deals with on a daily basis. Talk about that function and talk about the importance of just handling it very mindfully and being responsible for those types of funds.
Sure. Banking services really is the core of the Treasurer's Office. It is the main function of the office. It's what most people would think the Treasurer's Office would do. Anytime there's money that comes into the state, whether that's your DMV fees when you go to the DMV, if you have a student at a college, all of that money goes through our system through banking services. Anytime the state of West Virginia pays a bill or pays payroll, all of that goes through banking services. So yes, it's a huge sum of money. So there's got to be a number of controls there. We have a staff of professionals that we are very proud of. The Treasurer is very proud of CPAs, of individuals that are trained, that know the importance of making sure that cash is protected, that the state is protected, that people's identity is protected. We have those controls in place. We preach it, we practice it, but there is, again, a number of functions that banking services does. They work in conjunction with all state agencies. We work with not just the university systems, but we work with state agencies because they all have money coming in and going out. And so they speak with them on a daily basis, work with them on the changes that they need because changes occur all the time in the way that cash is handled as money comes in, money goes out. We have become more of most of those functions have become electronic. Most of the banking functions out there in the private sector with our private sector partners have become electronic. So it's a constantly evolving system that the Treasurer's Office stays on and attempts to serve the people of West Virginia as best as we can.
And I know State Treasurer John Perdue typically says we are the bank of state government when he's out there talking with the public. That really is a sense of what the office does. The Treasurer's Office does operate very much like a bank of sorts, so to speak.
Sure. For instance, when money comes in, we make sure that money is deposited in a timely manner with the Federal Reserve to make sure that the state gets as much interest on that money as quickly as possible, because every penny counts, and we want to make sure that money is secured and deposited and is working for the state as much as possible. So yeah, it's a number of different facets and functions that banking services does for the people of West Virginia, and the Treasurer's proud of it.
All right, thanks, Josh. Well, this is just one of the functions I want to talk about, but the daily functions of the Treasurer's Office do include managing billions of dollars that pass through the office for the state of West Virginia. Over the years, the office has widened its scope of duties beyond basic Treasury functions. Additional programs mandated by state code and other valuable initiatives serve the public on a more personal level sometimes. Kim Ward takes a look back on the impact seen across the state from just a few of these initiatives.
Treasurer Perdue's dedication to the programs he administers has taken them to great heights. Programs like the Smart 529 College Savings Plan, valued at $2.5 billion and growing. an unclaimed property program that returns money to the people of West Virginia on a daily basis, free financial education programs for people of all ages. All of this while managing the state's banking services and going the extra mile to help other state organizations improve their financial practices.
Because it's us that is the first safeguard of the taxpayer's purse. And that is very, very important to the future of the state of West Virginia.
This spring, more than 50 state organizations attended the State Treasury Cash Handling Conference to learn standard practices for handling money. The conference also offers an opportunity for state agencies to learn about the many ways the Treasurer's Cash Management Division can assist them.
Because there's a lot of options out there that people may not know about, that the Treasurer's Office in particular offers.
Other conference sessions touched on hot topics like identifying and preventing fraud. While state workers were learning best practices for handling money in the workplace, a much younger demographic had the opportunity to learn more about personal finances. Throughout the year, the Treasurer's Office hosted more than 50 Get a Life budget simulations in schools across the state. This gave thousands of students a chance to learn a real-life lesson about what it takes to make ends meet when you're on a budget, without facing the real-world consequences when you come up short. Elementary students across West Virginia are also looking to the future. This year marked the 10th annual Smart 529 When I Grow Up essay contest. The contest awards $500 invested in a Smart 529 college savings plan to 15 regional winners. But for one lucky grand prize winner, drawn at random during an awards ceremony in Charleston, that $500 prize turns into $5,000.
Madeline Brown.
In the 10-year history of the contest, more than $100,000 in Smart 529 accounts have been awarded. Another Smart 529 initiative from the Treasurer's Office is designed to help local children who are often at a disadvantage when it comes to college savings. The Smart 5.29K Run Walk, held each May, raises money to help establish Smart 529 plans for kids who have been adopted from West Virginia's foster care system.
When less than 3% of foster kids have an opportunity to go to college, you are helping change that. We're going to change that together, and we're going to make a difference.
Thanks to participants and generous sponsors, 12 children each received $1,200 invested in a Smart 529 account this year. This year's award ceremony brings the total to 31 children receiving a combined $37,200 over 3 years. The Treasurer's Unclaimed Property Division returns lost funds to rightful owners daily. Many times it is a small amount, a forgotten balance in a checking account, or a utility deposit refund. But there are occasions where a person is presented with an unclaimed property check much larger than they ever anticipated.
I'm bringing this up. Ladies and gentlemen, $290,353.15.
Such was the case of Louise, who received a 6-figure check from Treasurer Perdue. The money came from liquidated stocks in her late husband's name, originally purchased from the West Virginia American Water Company. The Treasurer's Office is working diligently to locate owners after an influx of property being reported from life insurance companies. In 2012, Treasurer Perdue's office sued dozens of insurance companies. The Treasurer's lawsuit claimed life insurance companies should turn over proceeds upon death of the insured using Social Security's Death Master File to identify deceased policyholders. The Treasurer argued that many beneficiaries don't know a policy exists or lack adequate details to file a claim. Since the matter went to court, the Treasurer's Unclaimed Property Division has received $16.4 million in life insurance proceeds, more than 5 times the amount the office took in prior to that year. Jackie Godwin recently received a $70,000 unclaimed life insurance check 18 years after her husband's death. While most of the unclaimed property received by the Treasurer's Office is monetary, there are exceptions. Along with bank account assets, banks are required to turn over contents of safe deposit boxes as unclaimed property after a period of dormancy on the account. Due to storage constraints, after a period of time, the Treasurer's Office may auction off the property, holding proceeds from the sale for the original owner should they be found. Online auctions are held periodically for these items, but in recent years, the office has had success holding auctions at the State Fair in Greenbrier County. These auctions give people the opportunity to take home unique items and collectibles as well as learn more about the unclaimed property process. The Treasurer's Unclaimed Property Division has been returning money to individuals, businesses, and organizations around the state for years. But thanks to a change in legislation in recent years, the Treasurer's Office now has a way to help those who serve and protect our communities. The Treasurer's Office held 2 unclaimed property firearms auctions this year, auctioning off guns turned over to unclaimed property from law enforcement agencies around the state. The auctions are open only to federal firearms dealers, giving them an opportunity to buy weapons at wholesale price and sell them for a profit. Law enforcement agencies then have a chance to receive proceeds from these auctions to purchase much-needed equipment.
Law enforcement is becoming more and more dangerous, more and more technical, and with that, more and more expensive to equip officers and training equipment, safety equipment. And this provides a revenue stream for them to help equip those officers to keep them safe.
And that's the State Treasurer's Office Year in Review. You can learn more about the Treasury Office programs by visiting our website at wvtreasury.com. Reporting for Treasury Notes, I'm Kim Ward.
All right, thank you, Kim. Well, the office has embraced these programs and the services that they continue to provide and grow, reaching more people each year. And Josh, really a lot to go through, a lot that the office takes care of through the course of a year. So I'm going to kind of walk down through some of the programs that Kim mentioned and just talk a little bit about what the office has done this year and how we continue to grow. Starting again, just kind of revisiting the cash management function of the office, since that really is the core. One of the interesting things with cash management is the fact that it just doesn't provide a resource as far as processing payments for the state. It also is the cash handling, really the cash handling model for the state as well. And I know several years ago, a cash handling handbook was put out there by our cash handling folks in the State Treasurer's Office to help create some guidelines. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that's helped other state agencies?
Sure. I think any time that you can put best practices out there to agencies and try to get everybody on the same page in terms of protocol and processes for internal controls and particularly cash is a positive thing. And so when the Treasurer's Office Cash Management put that handbook together, it saw that agencies and offices all were doing different things. There wasn't a whole they weren't doing anything inappropriately, but they were doing things differently, and we felt that it would be best if we, as the Bank of State Government, put together a set of guidelines, a set of procedures, because quite frankly there were a lot of questions, and so they would call our office and ask about things. So we said, why don't we put together a handbook, distribute it, offer trainings and things, and so we did that and felt that the process moved a lot more smoothly. There are a lot more internal controls. We feel it serves the people of the state to protect their money better, and all in all, it's been very positive, and we've had a lot of good reception from the offices and agencies throughout state government.
Yeah, it has been positive, and you talk about training as well, and that's something that went along with the cash handling handbook. Once it was put out there for state agencies to use, there was also a cash handling conference then that developed as a result of that, and that's still going on, and now I think we're several years into hosting a cash handling conference.
Sure, and every year we've learned and we've taken feedback from people that have attended the conference on things that they would like to learn, things that they would like to learn more about, and we've offered those services and we've offered those trainings, not just with cash handling procedures, but also with obviously the new OASIS system that they would request training in. We've tried to bring people in to give them some guidance along those lines with that new system and a number of other topics that they're interested in, but we try to be that resource for state government, and we felt that the conference was just another way to be able to reach out and offer people a service that they need.
All right, well, let's talk about the Board of Treasury Investments, and that's really the short-term investments of the state. Very successful over the past 12 years or so, and has even been awarded for its comprehensive annual financial report. Tell us how the BTI continues to grow and continues to do pretty well.
Sure. As you mentioned, the BTI is strictly just fixed income, very conservative investments. It needs to be invested in assets that can be quickly put into liquid, into cash for the state the use of state government. But as you mentioned again, it is award-winning. We continue to have to be AAA rated by S&P with our West Virginia money market, something that we're proud of. But it continues to grow. The vast majority of our investments beat the benchmarks throughout the private sector, and it's something that we are proud of. We take all of the cash from state government that's out there, then it's not needed that day. We make sure that we get every dollar we can from those investments, and they continue to outperform a number of other benchmarks. So we're proud of it.
Absolutely. So saving for state dollars, and then we talk about saving for individuals out there in our state and in our communities. The first savings program that the Treasurer's Office offers is the West Virginia Retirement Plus program, which is a deferred compensation plan for state employees and other employees out there in political subdivisions if they've adopted the plan as well. So it's really continues to grow and has flourished under the Treasurer's purview.
It certainly has, and it's something that we get raves about from the people that start to invest in it, because you can literally invest for $10 a month, whatever it is that you want to put into it. You receive tax benefits for it. It's a way that only public employees can invest. We continue to have fantastic outreach and the growth in the political subdivisions that do sign up, whether it's a county, whether it's a city, whether it's a small police department, PSD, whatever it may be. We continue to sign individuals up, and there's a lot of interest. We have over $200 million in assets now, and it's obviously had great returns over the last year. People are finding it is a easy way to save for retirement, an easy way to have that nest egg there that on top of what they may be contributing to their pension plan, and there's a lot of enthusiasm for it.
Yeah, speaking of enthusiasm, another program that sparks a lot of enthusiasm is the Smart 529 College Savings Program. Of course, that's something I really love, being a mother of a young child. It's a way to start saving for future education for my child, and so many parents out there are just realizing the benefits of investing in this program and investing at a young age. Talk a little bit about the success of this program, because I know Treasurer Perdue started this program well over 10 years ago, and it continues to grow and prove to really be something that is valuable.
It continues to grow. It's over $2.5 billion in assets now. We have wonderful managers. The money is taken care of. But like you said, this is a way that individuals can save for that child in their life, whether it's their child, their grandchild, their niece, their nephew, whomever it may be. They can put as little or as much as they want into it, and there are state tax benefits. That's one of the things that is very attractive for people, that they can use this as a tax benefit. It's tax deferred growth. They are able to stash money away a little bit at a time, and it adds up. And people are enthused about it. They know that their money is taken care of. They see those returns, and the cost of a college education keeps climbing. So the more that an individual can save on the front end, the less that student's going to have to find in scholarships or loans down the road. So it's a very positive program with a lot of good reception.
Absolutely, and one of the newer incentives is the Bright Babies program, which invests $100 into any account that's opened before the child's first birthday, or in the case of adoption, before the first anniversary of the adoption, and that's available to kids up to 12 years old. So there's a lot of different options there if you're an adoptive parent or if you're a biological parent, but either way, you can't go wrong by investing in this program and getting that $100 right off the bat for a young child.
Sure, and it's not just the $100. The beauty of the Bright Babies program is that new parents, whether it is, like you said, an adoptive foster child, or whether it's a brand new parents that have just had a child, it gets them saving early, because the earlier that you start, the more that is going to pay in returns, the more that you're going to save, the least you have to make up on the back end. So the $100 is a great incentive, but if you can spur individuals to start saving early, it pays off in the end. And so that's the real beauty of the
And it
Bright
gets you
Babies
over the
program.
hump, too.
Sure.
Because opening the account is really always the hardest step. Once you get into it, you start to see the benefits. You start to invest more money. That birthday, Christmas rolls
Right.
around, and you just tell the relatives, hey, a few bucks in the 529 plan.
And
Perfect
we've
gift.
also seen that students that know that they have a college savings
Yeah.
account opened, they feel that that college is something that they can do and is achievable, and it sets that standard for them to look at as well. So.
Yeah, another big thing is the When I Grow Up essay contest, which is just getting ready to kick off here for 2018. And that's a great incentive as well, because the kids who write these essays, it's an essay contest, they get some ownership in this investment than if they win.
Sure, it gets kids thinking about what they want to do, but it not only gets them thinking about what they want to do, they understand the contest and what it is, and that it is for potentially being able to save for education after high school. And they know that is something that they should be thinking about. So it gets them thinking about furthering their education at a young age, not just what they want to do when they grow up.
Sure, absolutely. And then, of course, we have the Smart 5.29K Run Walk, which is, again, a newer initiative that's under the 529 program, raises money to invest in accounts for children who are adopted out of the foster care system. So it's really a two-part thing here. We have the 5.29K Run Walk that happens in May, and then in November, the Treasurer awards several children adopted out of the foster care system these 529 accounts, which is a great opportunity.
It really is, and it speaks to a population of individuals that, as the treasurer alluded to on one of the clips earlier, such a small percentage of foster children pursue post-high school education. And if you open up, again, as I mentioned earlier, if a child knows that a college savings account is opened up for them, it really gets them thinking about college and about education after high school. And so to be able to speak to a population of individuals who haven't generally gone to get and further their education, to be able to speak to them and offer them something because they've not gotten off on the same foot as many of us have been blessed to, it's a way that really speaks to them and speaks to the value of the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about speaking to kids, getting them involved, getting them invested in this idea of saving, kind of leads me really to our next program, and that's the Net Worth program. And of course, that's the Treasurer's Financial Education program. But one of the highlights of that program is Get a Life, and that's the middle school activity that Treasurer Perdue goes out there and does in middle schools across the state to really give them an opportunity to learn about a budget and budget their lives and figure out what it's all about.
Sure. I mean, the one thing about being, my former life being an educator, the one thing you want to do is bring relevance to students. How does this, one question they always ask is, how does this impact my everyday life? Why do I need to know this? And you show them why you need to know it. You show them why they need to balance their budget. You show them how much things cost, whether it's rent or a mortgage or a car payment or a hot water tank. You show them how that really applies to their everyday life. And it is really a joy to be a part of because you see that light bulb go off. You see those teachable moments pay off. And to have that program come out of this office and knowing that you are having an impact and you see them learning those things, it truly is a valuable program. And it's great because you have local community members coming together too. You get local community members that are running the program in those schools as we facilitate it, but those are local people that they know. And so it's a community effort. The kids learn from it, and it is a valuable tool.
Definitely a highlight. Let's switch now to unclaimed property. We'll kind of round out the show talking about our unclaimed property program. And people always say it's too good to be true, and really it is. You might have something out there that has been forgotten about. It was turned over to the state for whatever reason, and the Treasury is holding your money. So you might have something out there.
You might, and we urge people to go to our website and look and search for their name. Because you never know what's out there. It can be something as small as a utility deposit, but as we've seen in recent years, and as the treasurer has been very vigilant in the last number of years in making sure property is turned over, we have seen some very large life insurance proceeds and that people didn't know existed, that their loved one passed away. They weren't aware that they had a life insurance policy there for them that they were the beneficiary for. And it has really helped a lot of people, whether it's a student that's working their way through college, or whether it's a spouse that is needed for maybe some doctor's bills. But we have that there. We actively go out and we search for unclaimed property, and we actively go out and we try our best to reunite people with their money. We don't want to hold on to it. We want to make sure people get it.
And Treasurer Perdue has really been a consumer advocate in that arena, especially when it comes to the life insurance proceeds, working, first in litigation and then with the legislature to make sure that that money is eventually returned to the beneficiaries, the people who are due that money. And he's seen a lot of success here just recently in being able to give back some life insurance proceeds.
Absolutely. We have seen life insurance proceeds and returns from companies come into the unclaimed property program a lot more heavily than we have in years past. And just as they come in heavily, we are returning it heavily, and we're finding the rightful owners. Treasurer in his tenure has returned somewhere $150 to $170 million back to the people of West Virginia. So again, this isn't a program where we're just out there seeking money to hold on to it. We want to reunite people with what's rightfully theirs. And it's something that, particularly with these life insurance proceeds, that people are genuinely being served with.
And really, just before we close out the show, earlier Kim had the story about the 90-year-old woman. The treasurer has been able to really return some larger checks as well, and
Sure.
That's always fun. How does it make you feel when you see that, to know that you're a part of being able to give back what is rightfully someone's money, that the state's not keeping it, we're doing an active effort to give it back?
It's great to see the fruits of your labor. I mean, you are out there finding assets that are rightfully someone else's, and you are reuniting them with something that they didn't even know existed, that someone had done for them. And to be able to reunite them with what is rightfully theirs, knowing that they need it, knowing that they'll put it to good use, is certainly rewarding for the Treasurer's Office.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final thoughts as we close out the show?
I think that that we continue to grow, we continue to change. We know that the world doesn't stop, so you're either moving forward or you're moving backward, and so we're making a lot of changes as we see fit to better serve the people of West Virginia with all of these programs that we've gone over today. We continue to try to make them better, so that we can serve the people better.
All right, Assistant State Treasurer Josh Stowers, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Been good to be with you.
Really appreciate it. That's all the time we have right now. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can always get the latest news and information from the State Treasurer's Office. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on our website. Keeping you informed on the Library Television Network, I'm Gina Joins with the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office.